Ounce of Prevention is sponsored by
I'm inside of me, you're inside of you. If you touch me without permission, I ain't gonna tell on you.
All right, we're rolling.
So I'm going to call them kitty heads. So we're going for blue, which is the, I think...
Lucifer, the light of heaven, that sinner never was forgiven, banished to his lowly station, till he checks out in Revelations. Why you keep up your life makes no sense to me. They may be enthroned in heaven, and I picked hell for the company. Why?
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Ounce of Prevention. I'm Vickie Morgan, and I'm here today with Stephanie Biggs. Stephanie is the owner of Kosmetikos Wellness Center.
Yes.
Here in Standish, and I wanted to talk to Stephanie today about her energy work that she does, which includes Reiki, and how that might benefit somebody with PTSD or anxiety. So, Stephanie, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for coming.
So, I guess my biggest question is, as someone who is just new to Reiki, can you tell me what Reiki is?
Well, Reiki is basically taking the energy from the earth and the higher power and asking that to come through you and work on people's their energy fields. So we have 7 main chakras, energy centers. Mm-hmm. And so with the energy, you help to balance, also withdraw some negative and put in positive divine energy.
So when you say that you're drawing energy or anything else, are you the person, do you have a special power, or is this something that anybody can access?
Anyone could do this. Anyone.
Okay. What is your background with this?
Well, I went back to school. I found out as I was doing some skincare that I was taking on some energy from other people. Mm-hmm. So I asked someone that worked with me about that, and she was a Reiki master, and she said, you need to protect yourself so that you can you can do your work and not take on anything from other people. So that's how it all started. Mm-hmm. And so I went ahead, took a couple of classes from her, and got my Reiki 3 finally, and was able to use that in my practice today. So I'm a giver. I love to do what I can to help heal and balance people so that they feel good, and I have been able to help really heal people, not just.
So my understanding of Reiki is that it's not, you're not giving energy to a person. You are using the energy that they already have in their bodies to help them heal themselves. Is that what
energy from their bodies, but also from the universe. Mm-hmm. and our higher power. And most of it is from the higher power. Yeah.
So when you say Reiki level 3, the first level is when you can do self-Reiki.
Yes, exactly.
And the second level training that you can do is you're able to practice at level 2?
You can work on other people, friends and family, plants. And Reiki 3 is able to teach people, and also as a master, and also with the 3 you can go in and extract. With Reiki 2 they don't teach that, so Reiki 3 is going in and actually taking out energy that is negative or not good for that person, which is that's different.
So that does sound a little like it might be a little painful.
It is not. It is not.
How is that possible?
By scanning the person, I can feel heat and vibration. And yes, I get some energy, some words, and I hear things and see things sometimes, so I know and can feel what needs to come out. So occasionally, I usually don't ask the person what's going on with them. It's just all through just feeling what needs to happen. and I just trust the universe that whatever I'm doing is going to be helpful for them. Yeah.
So, for somebody with anxiety or PTSD, or depression, or any of the things that really stop people from living their lives, I feel like they have energy in certain areas. I feel it sometimes in my stomach, sometimes I feel it in my throat. What is the connection from your practice? What is the connection between these illnesses and the work that you do?
Yep. So somebody with depression, that would include the third eye, which is so you'd want to do some energy work there to help clear and balance the third eye chakra, and that would definitely help them with feeling better. A lot of times what happens is there's a blockage. So it's a blockage further up that's going to affect another chakra further down. So with the throat chakra, so if that's blocked, it's going to affect the third, and so forth. So it's once you get one session and you help balance, usually if they come back, it's a little bit different next time they come in, because there's other things that haven't been addressed yet. So, and it's something that's being held within the body for whatever reason. It's a protective measure from the past, and you go from there to work on those particular levels.
So when somebody presents to you, I have irritable bowel syndrome, or I have chronic pain in my shoulder, do you find that that's the area that you concentrate on, or do you work on the whole body? And
I always work on the whole body.
Okay.
I still would address those areas. And like the shoulder, that tells me that there's most likely a blockage in the heart chakra. The shoulders and arms encompass the heart chakra with the heart and the lungs. The stomach, solar plexus, I probably would work on that as well. But still, there's usually some underlying thing that I don't know that everybody can hear or like I do. I know there's lots of people that are very, very talented and can, but for me, I will hear or see things, and when I afterwards, when I have the consult afterwards, usually the work that I've done will be very effective, because they'll open up and talk about what I just did. And they don't even know sometimes until the work's done, and they'll say, oh yeah, that was an issue for me. So it's a little different for me, I think, being intuitive and an empath.
so Stephanie, when somebody comes into your space, what do they? How many of them do you think come in with PTSD or anxiety-related problems?
Probably 50% of them. Yeah.
And do they present with what are their general? What do you see most often that troubles them the most when they have PTSD?
Some of it is definitely from the past and how they when they were younger.
So do they have physical symptoms too?
Physical, yes, and there are other ones that have had someone that they loved pass, and they don't have them any longer in their life, so they come to me, they get confirmation. I'll hear about their loved one being in the room, and they're able to feel much better about what they're doing and where they're headed.
So you're not just limited to Reiki, from the sounds of it.
No.
So if you had to describe Kosmetikos in 100 words, tell me about Kosmetikos and what you do.
Kosmetikos is definitely a total body, mind, spirit healing atmosphere, and that's what I'm aiming for. Especially in my skincare, my energy work, the massage as well, is all based on feeling and where the person is at that's coming in and what kind of help they need.
So if somebody came in here with any particular issue, is this something that helps them deal with it and move on and be better equipped to deal with the next thing that happens in their life? Or is it something that, oh, I just had something traumatic, I need to go back and see Stephanie?
I think they're definitely here for more long term.
Okay.
They'll come in. They'll at least have one more session, and maybe another one. And because I think we're very welcoming and down to earth, humble people here. That I believe that they trust us, that this is for them, that this is going to help them. So they do reach out and come back.
So how do you see this comparing to traditional modalities like therapy, chemical medication, any of those other things that, because if you went to a doctor, they would have you come back over and over and over again to keep prescribing medication?
I believe that the medication sometimes can be a temporary fix and is okay for a little while, but there's underlying reasons for why they need to take the medication. So if you address those and you combine that, I believe that they're going to achieve and be healthier and get to where they need to be. I don't think medication alone is going to do it, which is why a comprehensive, holistic, Eastern, Western works better.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say a lot of people confide in you, maybe disclose a lot, probably.
Very much
afterwards.
so. Very much
So
so.
how does that fit into your day? Like, is that something that you've had to get training to know how to deal with that sort of thing, or is it something that you intuitively deal with?
I haven't. I think some of it's intuitive. I grew up with my sister just kind of playing a fun little ESP game, and I think that was the beginning of it, and didn't realize I had that little, whatever you want to call it, intuitiveness. But also I think just being like I said, a humble, giving person helps, and they trust you and open up, and I do my best. I have not had any counseling training. I did attend a domestic abuse class before, and they actually recommend that when you do skincare, when you're in cosmetology, because we are sometimes the first people that people open up to, believe it or not. So it's an awesome thing to be one of those, to be somebody that when someone comes in, they do let loose. They start talking. And you have to know what to do with that information. So I have had that little bit of training, yes. But I think that just being who I am, I just intuitively help them.
It seems like your practice is very hands-on, that there's a lot of physical contact with people, with clients who come in, which would certainly lend itself to people disclosing to you and telling you things. So, particularly with Reiki, is there a lot of hands-on? Is this something that if somebody has had PTSD and has an issue with physical contact, is this something that they would need to be concerned about?
They would be fine with it, because I do not have to touch them in any way whatsoever.
Okay.
Only when I do a scan, it's just above the body. You're just feeling the energy above the body. You're not touching them at all. And occasionally, if I do feel like I need to touch the feet to add a little added energy, I'll let the person know. We don't have to do that. Okay. So that's not an issue. Yeah.
You mentioned that you're intuitive and you're also an empath. So if you are spending all your day dealing with other people's energies, how do you protect yourself? How do you take care of yourself?
Well, you do have, there's some self-care. There's something called earthing that a lot of people don't know what that is. And it's basically taking your shoes off, and you know how you play in the sand with your feet? That's what you want to do. You want to connect to the ground so that you can ground yourself. Personally, I will just sit still and meditate on bringing the energy in from the universe, from higher power, to help balance myself. And that's how you can regroup and re-energize yourself.
So one of the reasons I started to prevention was to, the focus of the show is detection and prevention of child abuse, of sexual abuse of children, and also with the recovery process when people, sometimes people don't realize it for a very long time that they were abused. So part of the show focuses on the recovery process when somebody has anxiety, depression, or PTSD, that there are different ways to heal and different ways to kind of get your life back on track. So what do you think Kosmetikos offers to people who have a history of abuse and want to heal?
I think the energy work is a definitely a good benefit that would help people. Along with counseling. I think counseling would be very important to help them work through that, of course. But and then on the physical and mental health piece, with the energy and the in the chakras, that would that the Reiki would be good for that, to help balance, to remove any old things that were keeping the person from going forward and healing.
Do you have any insight into why people hold energies in certain places in their bodies, and instead of, evolution would hope that people would let things go?
I just think it's a natural instinct to it's a protection mode. You don't even, we grow up, you don't let anyone know what you're feeling, and it's not easy for people to let it all go. To let go of that abuse that you're talking about. That is definitely something that needs to be worked on, and it takes a while. It would take a while to let it all go.
Has anyone ever described to you what that feels like, to have these energy sessions where they let things go? What does that actually feel like when you use the words "let go"?
Yeah, they just usually start crying, which is unfortunate, but they're opening up that energy, letting it out of their body so that they can move on, and they want to move on, they want to release all that. So
is it gone for good after they have those cathartic experiences?
I don't, not entirely. I believe that they need to come back and have an adjustment and talk to me if they need to. I encourage them to, after the session, to sit down with me if there's anything that they need to talk to me more about, to open up, and of course, because everything is confidential, doesn't go anywhere, and then from there we just I think it's a great thing.
So what do you think drew you to that work, to help other people? Because it's not everybody does helping things in their careers.
Gosh, I think it's just in my nature, and I think that I just, it's all about I got a tattoo when I first got my Reiki 3, and it's all about universal, it's love, and loving everybody, wanting to help them, be there, and helping them to heal, and that's what I'm about. Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie, for being on Unannounced Prevention, and I thank you for the work that you do, and it just sounds so peaceful and so beautiful, and thank you for what you do.
It can be here. Thank you. All right, thanks.
Vanished to his lowly station till he checks out in Revelations. Why